Welcome to another episode of the Personal Brand Blueprint Podcast. I'm Dave Polikoff, founder of ZenPost.com, which is your personal brand blueprint, giving business pros like you the tools, templates, and tactics to attract, convince, and convert your dream clients online. Again, check out ZenPost.com to learn more about how you can launch, grow, and monetize your personal brand today. On today's episode, we have Swire Ho, the Director of Sales and Marketing at Garuda Promo and Branding Solutions. Today, we're going to learn about how Swire has used his personal brand to grow income and his career. So Swire, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on, Dave. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So one of the first questions I always love to ask, because this is a very important question in personal branding, is Swire, what do you do?
My name is Swire Ho. As you were saying, I work with Garuda Promo. I'm also known as the promo guy. As the name giveaway a little bit, I'm in the promotional product industry.
Love it. And I love that you have the branded name, the promo guy. I mean, being in personal branding, you love to be the blank person in people's minds so they know, all right, when I need promotion, I know who to go to. So who would you say is like your ideal client? Who are you working with?
My ideal client, if we are setting in stone right now, obviously we're recording, would be a marketing department who has an annual budget in promotional product, who attend multiple trade shows, events, and then have campaigns that they would do outreach for brand awareness. So those will be the perfect textbook customer for me.
Sure. And what's like a typical interaction that you have with a client? Someone comes to you from soup to nuts. What does that look like in terms of how you're helping them and what the kind of finished product is?
Customer will sometimes come to us with an idea. For example, we are getting close to the holiday season right now. So that's when our biggest season come in. So people might do holiday gifts for the client, for the employees. So they will bring our ideas, and maybe sometimes they will say, I want holiday gifts, or we're sponsoring a golf tournament. What kind of item that you could suggest so we could brand ourselves, especially they want to create more brand engagement and sometimes to persuade people to act on their call to action. So promotional product can help doing that.
Great. Now, so you're in the world of, I think when we connected before, you said you don't like to use the word swag. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk me through that? Why don't you like to use the word swag, and what is like the better term then that people should use?
Yeah. First of all, a lot of people call it swag, in our industry, and it's actually an acronym. It stands for stuff we all get. So imagine that, as a marketing professional, as a branding professional, right? So you narrow down your key focus, you know what you stand for, what your values are, so you have that in place. But when you actually get to a physical touch point, which is what promotional product is, then you get it, stuff we all get. You blast it out to everyone. You lose your focus. So instead, what I encourage people to listen to, stay true to your focus. Stay true to your value. Maybe when you say you're luxury, you're eco-friendly, you're innovative, roll out the red carpet for the VIP. Just get the selective item that is relevant to your brand. And then so people can tell a lot of story about the item that you hand off to them. Would you want to be remembered as a cheap throwaway item, or you remember an item that people still talk about you 20 years later?
Yeah. So you're in the kind of personal brand merch arena. How have you been able to utilize your own merch, whether it be for your personal brand or for your companies, to help brand yourself and have people remember you even after your interaction?
That's a great question. I think that's, really, we have to dive deeper, because right now in the days in digital world, we talk all about digital, right? We have social media, we have our website, SEO, we do all the digital tactics, but promotional product is not to fight with your marketing effort in digital world. It's another touch point that you use. So what if you, in the virtual space, at some point you wanted to be in touch in the room with your target audience? How would you like to be remembered? The perfect item, like people always ask me, what's the perfect promo item, right? It's an item that can give people a taste of the actual experience. For example, when we go to Costco, we haven't bought that thing yet, but we have tasting, right, from the lady who gave it to us, and then we're not buying bags of stuff. When you go buying a car, which is a big purchase, you first do a test drive before you actually will sit down and negotiate the price for the car. Are there items that could persuade the audience or the potential client for the actual experience that they might be going through? So thinking process like that will help you brand yourself and then answer the question, what's the best item for you?
And I think I see behind you, do you have a few branded items on that shelf there?
Yeah, I have a cat, its purpose for waving you for your money. And these are the mugs that we do, different promo items. So I'm kind of on display here as well.
Yeah, well, that's why I love it too, because I think a prime example of, video is a big thing in personal branding, content creation, and the backdrop to your video presentation should have some sort of branded element to it. It should reflect your brand logo and style and things that mean a lot to you. So it does feel like that's kind of an element or direction that you can take with your promo. Sometimes maybe it doesn't have to be handing it off to someone after an interaction or a trade show, but maybe it's sometimes just getting some branded materials for your social content, your video content. Do you see people utilize it in that way as well?
Yeah, just you as an example, Dave. Dave, I know you're a runner, right? So you obviously collect the race T-shirt that you have, participate on. So when you go for a run in a community, for example, I'm sure that you check out what other people are wearing. So have they done marathon? Are they only running 5K or something that you kind of compare your peer to? Think about in a business situation, right? We've been to conferences, we've been to maybe a paying workshop, right? Through honing our skills. What if they present you with a gift that you could wear to work? So then you actually create conversation. Where did you get that T-shirt? Or how did that seminar went, right? What information did you learn? You can actually use that T-shirt to train the participant, right? You can obviously relate to your experience about the marathon you have ran to another person who is thinking about it, right? When they ask you, what marathon should I run? Dave, I'm sure that you already have an answer for them. Think about that in a business situation too. So using a T-shirt or clever related project, you can actually coach people to become a mini ambassador for your brand.
Love it. And now I know when we go to trade shows and maybe we're not hosting a booth, but we're just walking around, shaking hands, the number one thing people always need on them these days, or maybe it's evolving a little bit, but are business cards. Mm-hmm. One, I want to learn a little bit more about like what are some best practices when we're trying to have a very well branded business card? Like what should we have on that? And then two, well, let's start there. When we have a business card, what are some of the key things we want to make sure that we have on a business card to ensure that we're being memorable and that we actually give away the information we need in order to have a follow-up from that person?
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up because it's something very subtle and obviously it doesn't cost too much, but then it kind of tell a first impression, right, for what that person is or, what material, how attention to details, right? So to you on the business card, business card can cost you anything from nothing, right, to maybe I would say like a couple of $100s, or you could get really nice card. And then for myself, I specifically use a heavier stock, and then we go with a gold foil. The idea, because of obviously the industry that I'm in, is to wow people. If you going back to the original concept, right? What do you stand for? If you are luxury, if you're eco-friendly, can your business card actually reflect to what you do? Because right now we can do business card with seeded paper. So it fits well if you are an eco-friendly type company. Sustainability is a big word that we use. When you're luxury, maybe when you a financial advisor, what does your card say about you? Is it like finished paper that you can find, or you find a well-designed with the fonts that related to your target audience? So these little things, the design that you put on your card can mean a lot beyond what you could wanted to convey to your potential prospect.
Sure. Now, our audience is a lot of coaches, consultants, founders, people who are going to be kind of out and networking. What are some popular merch items, branded items that you see people are starting to purchase that you seem that seem to be working well for them? Is something that maybe is off the beaten path we wouldn't even think about? You know, we know our mugs, t-shirts, business cards, but is there other types of items we should be thinking about that are actually working well these days?
I think for coaches, the idea for handing out a gift to a client or their coaching prospect is somehow to drive them back to where you want them to be, which would be maybe schedule a call with you, maybe to continue your program, or just follow along your subscription on Patreon, for example. So the item itself should serve in tools that help them with the learning, maybe related to the training that you do. So, but at the end, I would suggest, bring the call to action, or you present them with a box, maybe a study kit, you give them homework, right? At the end, using the branded item that you do, you still bring them back to where you want them to be. Because a lot of people, when they think about promotional product, it's, I'm just giving it away and I never will see that item again. You can actually create a campaign clever enough that it goes around. They will use that product, but at the end, they will come back to where you want to be, either for a website or your physical facility for more work that you do. That, to me, will be a really clever, perfect promo item campaign to have.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this at the beginning of that statement. There is the idea of almost like a welcome box or something that like an onboarding box for new clients. Or new members to your community or course. I've been a part of memberships and courses and such where, like you said, it's all digital. So maybe we have some Zoom calls and such, but it just feels a little impersonal because it's still a disconnect between me and that person. But it would be really interesting if a coach or someone who led a membership would send like little personalized branded welcome boxes out to each of their members with things that would support whatever it is that they're teaching, right? If you're a fitness coach and maybe it's, have some fitness things in there, or if you're a business coach, there's the pen and personalized notepad and all that kind of stuff. So have you seen people utilize it in that way as well?
Yeah, the strongest way and the fastest way you can build a loyal audience is create a community. Like you just what you touch on. You are maybe a coach that train one-on-one, or I know some coaches train in a group setting, right? In a Zoom meeting. Let's assume that you do send a welcome gift for all new clients, right? You send them, making it up right now, so send them a red T-shirt. So what you can actually do is you can encourage maybe once a month or once every few training, everyone wear the same T-shirts. And then you see on your Zoom screen, all the box is wearing red T-shirt. What that does is, it creates a sense of a team, right? So for example, when we go do things by themselves, we're a lone wolf. But then when we think we are in a team, we actually will go above and beyond to do something that we normally wouldn't, which the coach has to think about what it is that they want to do. But by bringing people think about themselves as a team, or they are the followers, so to speak, for a brand. So people will actually do a lot of things that you asked to do, maybe a testimonial, maybe to refer a friend. If they feel that they are in a team, they are more likely to do that than if they just feel like a one-off transaction. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say a coach, consultant, founder who's listening is interested in moving forward with getting some merch. What should they be thinking about? What should they have in place prior to them reaching out to you that will help make the process as seamless as possible so they don't make any mistakes throughout the process?
That's a great question. And I think that's an important one. Like a lot of people want to do is, how can I save money, right? In marketing and things where you do, how can I save money when buying promo item? You actually asked me that question in your first question. What is it that you do? And then it goes on to the follow-up question that everyone should know. If you know that what you do, who are your ideal client? You also asked me that, right? Who is the perfect client for you? If you're able to answer all that question, I would even challenge everyone to go into specific title detail, maybe a gender specific, maybe the interest that they have, the hobby that they have. So then it will answer a lot of the different questions digitally and also physically. So if you know that these are executives that sit behind a desk, then for social, for example, it will be like LinkedIn or more business-like. Or if it's just coaches for fitness, then maybe Instagram, TikTok will be a better approach. And then to answer the question, are you doing events or are you sponsoring an exhibit, for example? So who will be attending? What event will go to be? Is it a golf event? Is it a marathon? Is it a CrossFit event? So that kind of you can answer a lot of questions already. So when you actually come to the bottom of the decision, you could probably know what you need to do already, because a lot of people just jump through the thinking process. Everyone has a pen. Everyone give her a tote bag. Everyone has a t-shirt. So why don't we just do that? But if you think about, all the little questions that I have and really take time to answer it, then you can filter out what you need to have and what you will never need for this event.
When you're speaking with a potential client, what's typically a reason they give pushback about why they wouldn't want to opt into merch for their business? And then kind of what's your boilerplate response as to why they're wrong or why they should be thinking a different way?
I don't think that's right or wrong. And I'm truly believe that, you don't need promotional product to be successful in marketing. Again, this is another touch point. Same as, not everyone I know who are successful need Google Ads. So it only depends on what your focus are, where your ideal clients are. Then you determine if this is right for you. But by not using the swag approach, you can actually use the budget that you have as small as you think will be. Maybe you only have $1,000. It's a moderate budget. If you do ads, probably can run you for a couple of days, right? You can utilize, most of us been in business for a little bit. We have followers on social media, right? Or maybe you have a newsletter, subscribe community. What if you get one item that is $1,000, which will get you something very, very nice, branded? And then you create a sweepstakes or you create a challenge, right? Whoever can win the challenge with the call to action that you have, or give up the email address or things that you want to do, or tag a friend who might be interested in your program, then you get a chance to win this $1,000 gift, that very shiny object. I can't tell you how many times that people lure me in with $10 or $5 gift card. I give them my phone number and email address. Think about the campaign. It's also go for the thinking process, right? So there's no right or wrong, but then you can use a nice branded gift to encourage people to take action easier.
This is a great connection between digital and physical here when it comes to, everything's digital these days, and we try to get to conferences and in-person meetups as much as possible. But I think the cost of publishing a piece of content is nothing, these days. While physical item takes a little bit more effort and cost to do it, but the two kind of combined sounds like, in terms of like a lead gen opportunity, is substantial. One thing with digital is that being able to trace the effectiveness of your ad campaign or content that you're publishing back to a lead seems a little easier versus handing out merch and such, and then knowing if they've come from that. Is there a best practice or a way to help with associating your swag merch efforts to the ROI of that investment? Knowing that someone has come from the pen you've handed out, the business card you've handed out, etc.
Yeah, I like that question, and I'm going to give you two examples. One, I think everyone have seen it. If you've been to like a shopping mall, like you see a shiny Corvette or a nice car in there, is provided by a timeshare company. So you can win this car, like put in your email address, then you get a chance to win it. So that's a classic example. I don't know if anyone has actually won their car, but I know people have given up their phone number and email for that. So that's a, example that everyone knows. Another one is when you do a trade show or when you maybe do like a speaking engagement to lure people to your tens of $1,000 training courses. You can have the same idea. You can even do like spin the wheel. Or if you are sign up for a newsletter or whatever the call to action be, you get a chance to win this item, or you can give them the item when they sign up for your newsletter. So then you can track, based on the money that I spend for this item or to buy that item for people to sign up for the newsletter, how many how many email addresses do we connect? And the thing is, when people do trade show and events, they don't think that, well, I have to close the job today. If you can close the job today, you're lucky. But the goal for trade show and events is to connect with a potential prospect, to introduce your brand. And if you can do a lead magnet for people to give you your email address or phone number, then you already have a really successful event. And promotional product can certainly encourage that behavior.
Love it. Now, this last segment I like to call kind of practice your pitch, if you will. And so for those listening today, coach, consultant, founder, who are interested, that today you've really persuaded them in the concept of merch and swag for their personal brand. Can you kind of give us a 30 to 60 second pitch again of like who you are, what you do, who you do it for, and then what would be next steps for how someone can get started with you?
The idea, I think the best work would be is really to throw away the word swag. You don't want everyone to have your item because you're not for everyone. We all have an ideal client. We all have an individual or a company that we want to work with. Think about the VIP approach. Once you create your ideal client and you know the details that they are, think about promotional product as another touch point. Not to say you only do one thing, but to create a campaign so that you bring them in full circle. And then you can use, the best way to use promotional product is to encourage them to act on the call to action that you set for them. And what is it that you can buy? So that's a good question. And if you wanted to go deeper, feel free to connect with me. And then if you want to search for branding items that I do, go look up Google right now, Swire, hashtag the promo guy.
Great. Love it, Swire. Thank you so much for today. Is there any final words you want to give the people?
Well, Dave, I wanted to thank you for, bringing me on the show. I think this is an important topic, and you asked a lot of good questions because I don't think there's right or wrong. Is to, there's always a fit and there's always not a fit. But the more that you know who you are, what do you do, and who are your ideal client, then the better that you can ask questions, which channel should I use? Should I use digital? Should I use promo item? Or should I just show up at the golf course and play golf with my client? That's a strategy too. That's another touch point. And I know very successful people only hang out at the golf course.
Yep. That's actually posted something today about really understanding who you are, what you have to say, and then making you go through that brand messaging step before you get out there and start publishing content. So yeah, that first self-awareness step is critical, both for digital and offline as well, it sounds like. So Swire, thank you so much for being on today's show. That's all for today's episode of the Personal Brand Blueprint. To learn more about how to launch, grow, and monetize your personal brand, please make sure to subscribe to the Personal Brand Blueprint podcast. Follow me, Dave Polikoff, on LinkedIn, and check out zenpost.com for details on how to work with me directly. Links to all of that, plus everything with Swire talked about today, will be in the show notes below. Thank you, and see you on the next episode of the Personal Brand Blueprint.